Hey, how's everybody doing? First, to kind of start off this video, if you want to take it here, can you get on the screen? You haven't seen this yet. I posted this on all of our bathrooms.
Okay.
Is that funny? Did you read it?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's a new rule because we're we're not almost out, but I'm afraid we can't get more. So if you are difficult about factoring trinomials, are you still good? I feel like you need to. No, you need to have it like this.
Like what?
Like that.
Why?
Because when they're at their computers, it's going to be sideways.
Oh.
Here, come stand right here. Okay, so the first term is not just n squared, it's 6n squared. So what multiplies to 6n squared? It might be 6n times n, or it might be 3n times 2n. So remember, the first, outside, inside, last. All right? Now let's think of what multiplies to 7. That's nice, 1 times 7. So we're either going to use 6n and n, or we're going to use 3n and 2n, and we're going to use 1 and 7. But it's going to make a difference where you put it. I know I liked reading what you guys had to say. A lot of you like the unfoil method better. But honestly, when you're doing this kind, I think the chart is almost better. So we're going to try the 3n and 2n method and the 6n and n method, because this is easier to kind of switch your mind. We're looking for a 23. I'm going to guess it right in the first try right here. So to try it, we have 6n squared, 2n, 7 times 3, 21n, and 7 times 1 is 7. Do you guys see how that worked? But it would not work if we would have tried it here. 6n squared, 7n, 6n, and 7. See how those don't add up to 23? So this is the one that works. But remember, we want to write our answer in the parentheses. So we have 3n plus 1 and 2n plus 7. Okay, let's try the two practices. So 2y squared plus 5y plus 2. So the only thing that's going to work to get 2y squared is 2y times y. That's our first. For our last, if you think of 2 times 1, it might be the 2 here and the 1 here, or it might be flipped. So you got to kind of think out which one you think it is. So if it helps some of you guys to draw this out, what if I try the 2 here and the 1 here? Let's see if this works. Let me use a pencil. So 2y squared, 2y, 2y, and 2. Is this what we want? Nope. We want 5y. So what I'm going to do is change this 1 and this 2. And then this changes to 1y and 4y. Now do you guys agree this works? So I need these two together in the parenthesis, 2y plus 1. And then I need these two together in the parenthesis, y plus 2. 3 times 4, 12d, and 20. Those add up to 17, but what do we need to do to make them add up to negative 17? Make them both negative. Now let's fix our answer here. This will turn negative, and this will turn negative. Will the 20 still be positive? Negative times a negative is a positive, yes. So I want to write 3d minus 5 and d minus 4. Okay, so in this section, these are the trickiest if the last number is negative, because remember, it takes a positive and a negative to multiply to get a negative. And we will deal with this, but I like to do the positives and negatives. That's the very last thing I do in my chart. All right, so 7x squared is our first term, and that obviously is made by 7x times x. That's really the only way we're going to get this. Now, to multiply and get negative 8, look over all these possibilities. You need a negative and a positive, but it's going to influence which one's negative and which one's positive. So to figure this out, again, I know a lot of you guys like to just go right here, and that's fine. If you can do this in your head, that's totally fine. But I think for right now, when you're learning it, this really is the best method, because you can fix your mistakes if you have them. So we're either going to use 1s and 8s or 2s and 4s. Okay, I try to think of, I want to multiply something that's pretty close to 26. So if I have a 7, 7 times 4 is 28. So I think that might help us to put the 4 here and then the 2 here. And remember, the very last thing I'm going to deal with is negatives and positives. We will deal with which one of these choices is the right choice. So this is 7x squared. X times 2 is 2x. 7x times 4 is 28x, and 4 times 2 is 8. So we're very close, but we want a negative 8 at the end, and we want negative 26 as our middle two terms. So how could we make these negative 26? Do we want the 28 negative or the 2 negative? Hopefully you're thinking the 28. So if we make this 4 a negative 4, that makes this negative 28, and it makes this negative 8. If this is still a positive 2, do you agree this is still positive 2x, but this is negative 8? Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. So this is exactly what we want. That leads us back to where we started. So we have to write 7x plus 2 in its own parentheses and x minus 4 in its parentheses. All right, let's go ahead and work on number 3. So hopefully right away we're getting the hang of looking at the 5d squared in the beginning is only made up of 5d times d. Now, the number 3 we kind of like because the only thing that multiplies to 3 is 1 times 3. But remember, we're going to eventually have a negative and a positive, but we'll deal with that last. Okay, so we have our 5d and our d. Now, kind of think, do you think we want to multiply 5 times 1 or 5 times 3? And we want to get to negative 14. So I think it makes sense to do 5 times 3 because that's close to 14. And then put the 1 here. So let's write down what we know. 5d squared, 1d, negative 15d, and positive, oops, not negative 15. It's not negative yet. Okay, 15d and 1d, and then 3. So to make this negative 14, we would want this to be a negative 15 and a positive 1. So make your 3 negative. And what else can I change to negative? The negative 3 here. And look back, this is exactly what we want. 5d squared, negative 14d, negative 3. So d minus 3 needs to be in its own parenthesis, and 5d plus 1 in its parenthesis. And we know it works because it worked in the chart. Okay, this one's a pain. We're going to make a little competition out of this one because 20p squared might be 20p times p. It might be 5p times 4p. It might be 10p times 2p. Only one of these charts is going to end up working, and we don't know which one's working. The next thing you look at is the 9. It might be 1 times 9. It might be 3 times 3. You have to kind of just try. It's like a puzzle. You get to try all these different possibilities till you figure it out. So the first person to figure it out, post it in the group. We'll start this question together, but then I want to see if you guys can finish it. So if you're not really understanding what this is showing, it's 3 rectangles. I know you might think that's a square, but it's actually a rectangle. They give you the area of this one, and they give you the area of this one, and they give you some of the sides. So if we know the length, but we don't know the width, but we know the length times the width is the area. So we know, okay. So it's kind of like the FOIL method. It's kind of like it's partly factored, but it's not all the way factored. So what do you guys think needs to go right here to get us to 6x squared? And hopefully you're thinking 2x. And what do we need here to get us to a positive 2? 2 times 1. And let's check our outside, inside. Outside, 3x, inside, 4x. 3x, 4x is 7x. So what do you think we just found? Length times width equals area. We know the length, we know the area, we just found the width. So we can now write 2. Where else do you think we're allowed to write 2x plus 1? Look at the picture. And hopefully you're thinking over here. So see how this is not a square, this blank one? That's 2x plus 3, and that's 2x plus 1. And we would multiply those to find the area. We would multiply these to find the area. So what I'd like you guys to try to finish is finding the area of this. Okay, and then I'm going to help you factor this. We know this side is 2x plus 3, right? Because it's straight over from that side. So if you have 4x squared minus 9, and you factor that, 2x times, okay, I'm going to write this, 2x plus 3. Can you guys figure out what goes right here? And notice the outside and inside would cancel. The outside and inside would cancel, and that's why there's no middle term here. So this is the correct missing side of our bottom rectangle. So you don't have very much left to fix. We did the hard part together. So you need to find the area total. You'd add all the areas, and the perimeter total. You'd add all the outside edges. So this will be part of your homework as posting the answers. Done here. Oops. Okay, we're almost done here. So I changed the homework a little bit. Instead, I crossed off 56 and 57 and added number 30. So there's the problems. If you don't have a book, write those down. But I wanted to teach you something about how you can use Desmos to check your answers. So let's look at the first problem. So if you're actually watching my video, you're going to know the answer to this problem. 3x squared plus 17x plus 10. So for 3x squared, I know 3x times x. I'm going to show my work right down here. 3x times x. Now 10 might be 2 times 5. It might be 1 times 10. So if you don't know, you just try. Let's try our 2 and our 5. All right, 3x squared, 5x, 3 times 2 is 6x, and 2 times 5 is 10. So my middle two terms are 11, but I want them to be 17. I'm going to show you how we know this is wrong using Desmos. So if I would think the answer was 3x plus 5 and x plus 2, I'm going to show what happens on Desmos. So first what you do is you type in the regular problem, and it's a parabola. I know you can't see it all, so if I hit the minus sign, a parabola we're going to learn all about next chapter. But if you have the answer right in factored form, and you can type in parentheses, so parentheses 3x plus 5, and then close my parentheses, and then put another set of parentheses and do x plus 2. I see a parabola, but do you guys agree those are not the same parabolas? That should tell me it's wrong. I would know if I was doing my homework, my answer's wrong, I better keep trying. So instead, let's move our 5 and 2. I'm going to put the 2 here and the 5 here. So now I have 15x and 2x right here. Now do you guys agree that's 17? So my actual answer is 3x plus 2 and x plus 5. Now watch what happens when I put that in Desmos. So I'm going to change my 5 and my 2. And my 5. And now do you see the blue and the red are the same? That means that these equations are the same. These functions are the same. So that means I factored it correctly. Hope this helps. Good luck. This is a harder section, so take your time.